right. It's David Victor here with ProTributeBands.com. And today I'm honored to be joined by the cast members of the band Linger, which is a Cranberries tribute. And the two principals here are Adriana Lorenzi and Mary Kate McNally. Ladies, how are you doing today?
Good, very good.
Doing really great. Yeah, it's finally a sunny Saturday in Colorado. We've had some cold ones.
Very nice. Yeah, I guess our clouds are coming your way soon, but they're not quite there yet. So get ready for that here in California. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about Linger and what inspired you to start a Cranberries tribute.
Okay, I got the inspiration since I was living in Italy. I'm a huge fan of the Cranberries. And then after, the sudden pass, Doris, the singer, the lead singer, it felt like a huge emptiness. So I said, we have to start this. It was a moment, a real important moment that everything like mixed and put everything together and started from nowhere.
Yeah, it was you and Alejandro who have known each other for years, and you knew this was a project you wanted to start. And Adriana's out on Craigslist and them at a Starbucks for just like a chat after sending a video that you guys really liked. And the thing that completely left my jaw on the floor is that you said that the most feedback you got from people was saying oh, well, do the Cranberries even have enough music? Are there even enough people who are fans? And I think Adriana is someone who's international experience growing up and as an adult that you were there's tons of fans, there's tons of hits. And so thank goodness that Adriana had the idea that she did, because here we are.
Super awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting band. I have to admit, I wasn't as familiar connecting the name with the songs, but of course, everybody knows the songs. And I've had that same experience being a former member of Boston. When you tell people Boston, they go, "Oh, I think I know." And then you say More Than a Feeling.
More than a feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
You start whistling a melody or two. You whistle a melody or two, and people go, "Oh, I actually do know I do know Boston. I do know the Cranberries."
Exactly. So, and your video really shows that off. Plenty of hits. What are some of your favorite Cranberry songs to perform, and how do you choose the set list for your shows?
Oh man, I think it's so hard. It's like picking a favorite child,
Yeah, I think one of the songs we enjoy the most and we feel like in heaven is Promises.
Yes. Promises was an early, one that we really locked in on early as a group, yeah.
And then we discover, because even if I'm a fan, I didn't know that song. And a fan, when we were going to play in Washington State, said to play Sunday, and has another fan saying about how. And now how, I think it's one of our favorites. It's not well-known song, but real fans know them. And well, I think Zombie and Dreams is like the cherry on the top,
right?
Yes.
On all of our shows. Yeah.
I have to, I've been playing trumpet for 22 years now. I started when I was 11, so I have to give a special shout out to Salvation also, because there are a lot of songs where I will make the trumpet a part of an arrangement when it is not necessarily originally. And Salvation is one of the few tunes. There's one other one that uses a trumpet pad, but Salvation's one of their only tunes that uses that trumpet as a really strong ska element. So I always feel very in my home zone doing Salvation too.
No, that was super cool to hear you play. Very surprising to just all of a sudden the lead singer pops out a trumpet. That is not a typical lead singer move. So kudos.
One of my favorite things to tell people is I usually will say that's right, everybody, we make you wait almost 4 entire songs or 5 entire songs before you hear me do what I'm actually trained to do.
Very nice. Well, your voice is fabulous. I mean, it's really you really nailed the match of the tone of the original singer, and that was one of the things that drew my ear to the band. The real rockiness of it, which I'm a fan of, but the playfulness of that voice over that bed, and it's just a beautiful combination. Probably one of the reasons they were so tremendously popular.
Without question.
Do you take special care to try to match the Cranberries' look, or just the sound, or neither, or both?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to sound, like I don't think it can be stated enough that, in my opinion, nobody has ever and nobody will ever sound like Dolores again. Like, and the proof is in the pudding, because the entire band said we're done. Like, this project has come to its conclusion, and it's really, really tragic that it concluded in the way it did. But to do the Cranberries without Dolores is frankly not to do the Cranberries. It's really not so much about me trying to sound like her as much as it is that, like, I was born in 1990 and I grew up in the soup of listening to Dolores. And so I think there's a little bit of Dolores in me, in the way that there's a little bit of Dolores in all girls and women, like, who grew up listening to her. So more than anything, I think I just try to honor, like, it's so funny, like that playfulness, that lightness, that spirit of like earnesty and relatedness. She sings about such like common everyday issues and struggles. And so it's just about trying to match that energy. In terms of look, Adriana, I don't know if you can speak to it, but in my mind, I'm always trying to dress the way I feel like she would be dressing. I'm trying to, like, if the Cranberries were still doing their thing, what would they be doing?
I think one of the things we do similar to them is being ourselves. It's just being ourselves and have that passion for their music. So that's another thing that to them. But yeah, just being ourselves, do the best we can. Yeah.
Right.
We're lucky to have a good chemistry. That's a huge part of it.
Yes, definitely. That's tremendously important for a band on stage. People can feel the vibe. I felt like even just watching the video, I could feel that the band members enjoyed being around each other.
We do.
Doesn't always happen. Interesting you hit on this, and I may edit this out, but the you mentioned the band hung it up after Dolores passed, and a lot of bands have that same challenge, right? Like, and I liken it back to, and it's a little grandiose, but it's like, what if when Beethoven died, they went, all right, that's it. No more Beethoven's, fifth or anything.
Brahms, who is so often historically considered to be like Beethoven's successor artistically, because while everybody else was like romanticism, crazy weirdness, he was like, no, I really want to stick to these romantic traditions. He did not write his first symphony until like well into his compositional career, because so many people were already applying this pressure of like, oh, he's going to be the guy to write Beethoven's 10th. Brahms is going to give us Beethoven's 10th. And he was like, no, I don't want to do it. So he waited forever. And he was so scared.
Yeah, I mean, there's big pressure, but it's just an interesting, I think, point that every tribute band sort of faces, and even the original bands. I mean, I joined Boston as a supplemental singer, had a great lead vocalist already who sounded a lot like their original vocalist. I came in and did my similar thing, but each band has to decide, like, if and when a vocalist passes, which is a signature part of the sound, what do we do? Do we carry on? Is the music now null and void, or does it still have energy? And I think you guys prove, the music still has great impact and energy, and that's a testament to your passion for what is recorded history, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was enough to find somebody who could be a sing-alike. They would have tried that, even if it wasn't perfect. But there's something about like who she was. There's something about like her soul and her spirit. And like it's a testament to her that for Adriana, on the complete opposite side of the world as me, that we are still feeling that resonance and that echo into the future now. Like we are continuing on because of her and because of them.
Right.
So like, it's cool to get to be a part of that legacy of a band that's not doing their thing anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
let's bring her back to Linger, and maybe you could share a little bit a particularly memorable performance that you've had in the recent past.
I think a memorable one was the past October in 90s Flannel Fest. That I think that day we connection was like we were in heaven. I mean, between us and with the audience.
Yes.
And I was so shocked about people coming us after the show, hugging us with tears. People that saw the Cranberries live and saying us so many wonderful things. So that I think for me that's my best show.
And it's every show. And it's a testament to your vision, Adriana, that like it is every single show that I have at least one, if not multiple people coming up to me and saying, I am a huge fan of the Cranberries. To this day, I'm a huge fan of the Cranberries. The kind of crowds we pull now, almost always now we get someone who saw them and tells us how great it is to get to see them again. For me, that show was amazing, but the real memory is that we drove straight back to the hotel, slept for like 3 hours, rolled out of bed, went to the airport, got on a plane for 6.5 hours, lost 3 hours of time, immediately got in the rental car to drive to Autumn Fest in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and we had an hour-ish to sound check, eat, and then get ready for show. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane.
Well, you kids are young. You can do that sort of thing, and it is good. Those are.
I'm not that young. I can look young,
He's
but
just
I'm
gorgeous. And
Well,
I'm an
you.
80-year-old living in a 33-year-old's body, so
That's perfect. The old soul. Well, thank you for spending a little time here today and sharing a little bit about Linger. And can people see you if they want to perform?
I have a goal, and it's to visit every city that the Cranberries were supposed to perform in their last tour in United States. There are 12 cities, and that's one of my goals as the leader of the band and as a huge fan of the Cranberries.
You know what? I think that's a very clever marketing thing too. It's like, okay, those cities were hotbeds of Cranberries fandom. And so, yeah, why wouldn't you start there?
It cannot be overstated the amount of things that Adriana does for this band. Like, it's so much more than all of the musicianship she demonstrates on stage as a vocalist and as a multi-instrumentalist. So her contributions to the band run, like, I can't even begin to explain how deep. It's so much.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to do it. And she's for spending a little time here today. Adriana,
thank you.
And
thanks to you. And it was great to know you even by internet.
By the internet, yes, indeed. Well, thanks again. And if folks would like to book Linger, they can head on over to the Linger page at protributebands.com and request a show and submit your date and your budget, and we'll see if we can hook it up with Linger. Ladies, thanks again. We will see you on the road.
Bye.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.